About what?
Testing.
I'm with her.
It's working. It's working.
What are we waiting on?
That's a good question.
Oh, I just asked what we're waiting on.
Oh, I don't. My bad. I'm sorry. What are we waiting on? I want to know.
When
Greetings, everyone. Greetings,
Present.
everyone. We're calling this.
Regina,
Can you hear us?
hello,
Everyone, go ahead
Regina.
and mute everybody. Everyone is muted right now. We are calling.
I just got in.
Okay, everyone is not muted right now. Can you? Okay. Can you mute everybody? I'll unmute myself, and then I'll lay the foundation. So good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for taking time on a Saturday afternoon to do the good work of the Shelby County Democratic Party and to participate in this moment in time where we're about to select who will lead the party forward for the next 2 years. And so we are now officially calling this meeting to order, and I want to invite Thurston Smith, one of our former executive committee leaders and a very active Democrat in this Shelby County and Memphis community, to lead us as we take this moment to reflect silently about the wonderful things that have been happening here in Shelby County. Thurston Smith, unmute yourself.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Thurston Smith. Really excited to be with you all this afternoon. Welcome to the 2021 Shelby County Democratic Party Reorganization meeting. I would like to briefly take a personal point of privilege to congratulate and thank the outgoing Executive Committee and Democratic Grassroots Council, as well as congratulate all of the newly elected incoming Executive Committee members and Democratic Grassroots Council. Additionally, personal thanks, and I think we all owe these two individuals a personal thanks. Want to thank two outstanding leaders for their willingness and fervor to step up to the plate, and that's none other than Gabby Salinas and Corey Strong. These are two outstanding and proven leaders that I think we all should congratulate. Lastly, to both set the stage for this very important meeting this afternoon, as well as commemorate the Democrats that have served with us, like Mickey Clens, Virgie Banks, and others. I would like us to take a very short of reflection before the meeting begins. Moment of silence, please.
And thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I yield the floor back to you.
Thank you so much, Thurston Smith. And so at this time, we will commence with the Pledge of Allegiance. And for the purpose of saving you all the various rate of delays that we typically hear when we speak in unison on Zoom, I will recite the Pledge of Allegiance, and you can do so as well, but do not unmute yourself as we give the pledge. And so we shall begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So now let's go ahead and commence with the roll call of all those who have been elected as members of the Executive Committee and Democratic Grassroots Council.
Can you,
Okay. Alrighty, so I'm gonna go through the roll call at this time. And sorry, having a little technical difficulty right there. All right, can everyone hear me?
yes.
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 Okay. And so there are a couple of participants whose names are not whose names are not registered. And so if your handle on here is 19014, if you could please identify yourself in the chat, that would help me.
Faye Morrison.
Hey, Morrison. You got it?
Yeah.
Is that the last one?
There is Zoom user. I don't know if that is what you might.
Zoom user,
Yes.
what's your name?
Faye Morrison.
And then we have,
Did you get the Zoom user, Regina?
is there a person that is on here? Your handle comes up as Zoom user?
Barbara Cooper, State Representative.
Barbara Cooper.
Thank
And someone on the phone is 340-5265. I think that's Candace. Yeah, that's Candace Jones. Can you get her?
you. The 9014.
The 901-340-5265. That's Candace.
I'll find that person.
Candace Jones.
Her phone number's in there, 901-340-5265.
I'm sorry. Let's see. I won't be able to change her in a second. Find her.
Okay, yeah. She's in. Okay. Alrighty, now commence with the roll call. Barbara Williams.
Present.
You got her. Dedrick Jeffries.
I'm here.
Early Trice.
Here.
Melinda DePriest.
I'm here.
Please mute yourself once you've said present, then put yourself back on mute, please. Ronald Williams,
Here.
Sarah Turner,
Here.
Sherman Greer,
Here.
Sonia Glazer,
Here.
Stephen Glazer,
Here.
Amber Lombardo,
Here.
Chelsea Glass,
Here.
Julie Ashworth,
Present.
Lynette Williams,
Present.
Michael Connery,
Here.
Michael Cutsback,
Present.
Nicole Welford,
Alexandria Nicole Welford, present.
Sanjeev Mamula,
Present.
Thomas Carpenter,
I am present.
Angela Irwin,
Present.
Brian Dole,
Here.
Brian McBride,
Here.
Kelsey Lawful. I said that.
Here.
Nicole Brewer,
Present.
Regina Perry, I'm here. Robert Arelli,
Here.
Thurston Smith,
Present, Madam Secretary.
Bonnie Jeter,
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm present.
Darren Ragland,
I'm present.
Houston Wolf,
I'm here. Thank you.
Jeff Etheridge,
Here.
Kathleen Ferris,
Here.
Sarah Wilkerson, Freeman,
Just let her back in.
She just texted me and said that she's been kicked off.
I just let her back in.
okay, I'll go back to her. Tharwa Belbesi, I know I just murdered that.
Regina, a notification just popped up that Tharwa left, so she may have been booted off the
I
call.
just let her back in
Okay,
for the third time.
Thomas McDonald,
Here.
Vicky Lyon,
Here.
Gabby Salinas,
Here.
Jeffrey Bates,
I'm here.
Jesse Husick,
Here.
John Boatner,
Present.
Larry Pivnick,
Present.
Robert Holcomb,
Present.
Shauna Crispin Boatner,
Here.
Tiffany Crow,
Here.
Trisha Dewey,
She can't come today. Paula? Dave,
We haven't circled back. She's here.
she's here.
Okay. What about Sarah Freeman?
Yeah.
those were the two that weren't in.
Okay.
Aquanetta Harris,
Here.
my screen just went blank. There we go. Candace Wallace. Deirdre Fisher.
She here?
No Candace Wallace. Deirdre Fisher. Deirdre Fisher. Donna Ezel.
Present.
Faye Morrison.
Present.
Keisha Jackson. Keisha Jackson. Lloyd Brown.
Present.
Norma Lester.
Here.
Billy Brooks.
Present.
Cardell Orrin. Cardell Orrin.
Here. Here.
Oh, okay.
Katrina Smith.
Here.
Erica Guyton.
I think she's having problems muting her.
Here.
Hunter Dempster.
Present.
Ian Randolph.
I am here.
Janetta Lentz.
Present.
Jeffrey Lichtenstein.
Present.
Megan Keel.
Here.
Michael and Easter Thomas.
Present.
Paul Schaefer.
Here.
Talise Turner.
Present.
Burton Bridges.
Present.
Dominique Frost.
Present.
Eddie Walsh.
Present.
George Boyington.
Present.
Gianni Webster.
Jayani.
Gianni. John Freeman.
Present.
Leah Ford. Leah Ford. You see Leah Ford?
I did.
Oh, here. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Okay. Patty Marsh.
Here.
Kristen Canavera.
I'm here.
Bettina Hunt.
Present.
Beverly Alexander. You don't see? David Page.
Present.
Juliet Eskridge.
She says she's having a problem logging in.
Present.
So that she-
I'm here.
Michael Compton.
I've been having
Here. I'm here.
Okay. Michael Antonio Jones.
Present.
Ruby Jones.
Here.
Stephanie Hill.
Present.
Terry Williams. Terry Williams.
I see Terry.
Hmm.
I see Terry.
Present.
Brett Thompson.
Present.
Barbara Cooper. I saw her get. Okay. Annie Dickerson.
Barbara was on just a few minutes ago, Regina.
She's, yeah, I see her. Jason Sharif.
Present.
Alice Miller.
Was Terry Williams here?
Terry Williams, yes.
Present.
Bennett Foster.
Present.
You know. Brittany Thornton. Brittany Thornton. You see Brittany? David Koch.
Here.
Delphia Harris.
Present.
Frank Johnson.
Present.
Jake Brown. Jake Brown. You see Jake Brown? Kelly Walton. Kermit Moore.
Present.
Matthew Brown.
I'm here.
Nina Staples.
Present.
Rebecca Davis.
Present.
Wait a second. Who'd you ask? Who was the last one?
Rebecca Davis.
Present. Can you hear me?
Yes, I got you.
Rebecca Davis.
DGC 10. Mhm.
I got Kelly Walton and Kermit Moore.
Kelly, Kermit, Matthew, Nina, Rebecca.
Okay,
I'm gonna keep her on the list.
no, that's fine.
Beverly Johnson. Beverly Johnson.
Beverly is on telephone. She may not hear you.
She can't hear. Oh. Is she 9014?
I think I changed. I thought I renamed her.
That's what I need.
She's showing on the screen. She's muted.
Okay. Candace Jones.
Here.
Dominique Primer.
Here.
Gloria Banks. Or Gotria.
Tria Banks present.
Nathaniel Jackson. He already talked to you.
Present.
Nebraska Dover.
I'm here.
Aretha Anderson.
Here.
Pearl Walker.
Present.
Janquise Jackson.
John Cleese here.
Zakia Salisbury.
I'm here.
Aaron Washington.
I'm here.
Brandon Price.
Present. And thanks for using my dead name. Love you.
Erica Sugarman.
Present.
James Jones.
Here.
Jason Hunter.
Present.
Leslie Hardaway.
Here.
Melanie Gaines.
Present.
Rosemary Winters.
Present, Madam Secretary.
Shalisa Cox.
Present.
Stephen Sanders.
Present.
Tracy Jackson. Tracy Jackson.
Here.
Vicky Terry.
Present.
Adrian Davis.
Here.
Eris Newton.
Here. Present.
David Holt.
Here. Present.
Dylan Ledbetter.
Present.
Felicia Boyd.
Here.
John Emery.
Here.
Margaret Price.
Here.
Michael Melton.
Sorry, present.
Sean Harrington.
I'm here.
And last but not least is Tricia Spence.
Present.
Yeah.
Madam Secretary, Sarah Wilkerson Freeman is here. I keep
Thank
getting kicked out.
There were two people. That was Sarah Wilkerson Freeman was one of them, and Tharwa
Yes,
Delbasi.
I'm here.
Okay. And
Regina,
then-
I wasn't called. Joan Robinson,
Which
Yes.
district are you, Joan?
8. Maybe I took a nap and didn't realize it.
Looking.
Regina,
Yes.
this is Kerwin May. I'm in District 1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Regina,
Yes.
Beverly Alexander says she has been trying to get on and she can't get on.
Beverly Alexander.
Uh-huh.
We keep letting her in, but she keeps getting disconnected. It's probably on her end, maybe her Wi-Fi or something.
Okay, let me tell her.
Listed on here as being elected.
Huh?
Joan wasn't elected.
Joan?
Joan Robinson is not.
Oh, okay. I was corrected. Thank you.
Okay.
Somebody must have told her.
Okay, yeah, you're not listed as being elected. Thank you.
And who's the 19014?
Okay, someone still has a handle on your screen that says 9014. 19014.
That's Faye Morrison, you call me.
Okay,
Okay.
Faye Morrison. All right, thank you. You renamed her?
No.
I got it. Okay.
Willie Brooks.
Willie Brooks is here.
I just let him back in.
Okay, I'm here. All right.
She's not here.
Okay, there's Beverly.
This is Beverly Alexander.
I got you, Beverly.
All right, thank you. It's so much traffic on the line.
Mm-hmm. All righty, we got you. You ready?
Yep.
All righty, I'm muting.
All right, I'm back. And first, I want to welcome you all to this 2021 biennial reorganization event. This is a big deal for Shelby County. And the reason why is because the work that we have to do is work that never ends. It continues and goes on and will continue to go on. There is not a single accomplishment that is an accomplishment towards an absolute end. It's just a benchmark for today because we've got to keep working. We have to keep moving. And that's the call to action that we have. And I want to be the first to share with you that as I give my last address as the sitting chair, this is a moment that for me is filled with emotion because I love people and I love working hard to try and make a positive impact in whatever way that I can. And I want you guys to just think about all the things that we accomplished over these last 2 years and really live in this moment and feel good about it, because tomorrow when you get up, none of that matters. It's about what you're doing today. And I do want to also be the first to say to you that there's not a single person who can be chair of a county party who's done anything on their own that's enough to even be calculated. None of this work can be done without having a strong team of leaders working in support of the vision that you're trying to cast as someone who's sitting in this seat as chair. And what I've found over my time as chair is that I've done more listening than anything else, and that I've surrounded myself with people who are so talented and smart that, you know, the greatest responsibility I have is simply recognizing the best idea when it's put at the table. And that's what this work is about. And I just want to highlight for you that we did a lot. You know, we had like nearly 90% attendance from our executive committee. I think actually over 90% attendance from our executive committee over the aggregate of 2 years. We were able to do some things that hadn't been done by the party. We actually printed and delivered via mail at zero cost to candidates 20,000 ballots. That's a first for the party. We locked in our own mailer permit, which the party didn't have before. And so, we own that now. And that's something that matters. We worked on behalf of candidates by producing our own video podcast, Coffee Candidates in Conversation. And we did that across the entire election cycle and had a host of candidates who were running for office have an opportunity to share information about what they were doing. We held fireside chat series events that were not run by our administration, but they were handled by you in your DGC district. Each district had a team working in their district to put that event together. And they handled it all. They put together the questions. They went and recruited those who were going to be speaking at the event and sharing information. And that type of engagement, that type of involvement is what we've got to continue. And there's just so much more, but I've got to mention that, we now have 1-844-901 vote. That's our own transportation line for when people need a ride to the polls. We put that together. We did that, you guys. We did it together. And then we had a virtual Unity Gala, which was the first for us. And not only did we pull it off, but we made money. We made a lot of money for an event that people thought that we couldn't do. We took a stand against a machine that was infringing on our brand in the name of the Greater Memphis Democratic Club. And guess what? We slayed a giant when they said it couldn't be done. We got that done. We had elected officials across every level of government to give money to the party again, to support and come to party events again, and to really get engaged. And today, on this very call, we've got elected officials involved. We didn't have that before like we have it now. And that means that we did a lot. And I want to take some professional and executive privilege to acknowledge some of the leaders who really carried the lion's share of work that we had to do here. And first and foremost, let me acknowledge our executive leadership. And I have some awards that I put together for everyone, but I'm moving into a new house right now. And so stuff is everywhere. But, my first executive, my first vice chair, Ms. Sarah Beth Larson, who's good at everything I suck at. And that made such a wonderful leadership companion on this journey. She worked hard, put together a lot of stuff, put together one of the best primary conventions that we've had when we were, preparing for the presidential election. It was an awesome event, and she's done work all the way across the board. This next young lady, I call her the GOAT, the greatest of all time, Miss Regina Perry. She's all things Unity Gala, all things. And she was also my personal ADHD life coach. And so I really appreciate her. She's a wonderful resource to the party. I'm sitting here at the table with somebody who's not on the Shelby County executive team, but who is like a member of it, and that's Dave Cambron. And look, this is a hard worker. He puts in work, and he does it through the good. He does it through the bad, happy, sad, rain, sleet, or snow. And we love him for it. And then I don't want to leave out those. We have Ms. Juliet Eskridge, who's on the call today. Hard worker and has continued to add value to the party in a meaningful way. Ms. Theron Bond, who has added value to the party in a meaningful way. Brother Darren Thomas, same thing, added value to the party in a meaningful way. And then I wanted to make sure I got this right. I know Jesse Youssef was one of our steering committee members, and he worked really hard and did it as long as he could until he had to take an opportunity to do some stuff for himself and work on some things that he had to handle, and we love him for that, making that decision too. And then Brian McBride, who worked with us for an extended period of time and was a valuable asset. And then to one of the most detail-oriented people I've ever met in my life, and I love him for it, Mr. Larry Pivnick. People fuss when you bring up those issues, but you know what? I can count on the fact that you read every line, you thought about every comma and every period. And I love you for the work ethic, and that's what we need. And I just want to do some general acknowledgments. If I miss your name, please charge it to my head and not to my heart. But I I want to acknowledge also my treasurer, Dr. Lucretia Carroll, one of the hardest working young ladies I've ever met. And she stood up in times where we were facing incredible resistance, and she did what she had to do, and she did a great job as treasurer, and we're glad to have her on the team. David Koch, who came to really assist us as we were standing up to that great grant organization. Representative Barbara Cooper and Representative Karen Camper, Jay Hardaway, who supported me from the very beginning. They asked me tough questions, and they weren't soft when it came down to talking about what was going on. But I can tell you this, they supported me in a major way. And in particular, I've got to highlight Ms. Karen Camper, because this is the charge I'm giving to you all. And that is, before I ran, Ms. Karen Camper wasn't, she wasn't on my side of the fence. But the moment I won, the first person to write a check to the party was Ms. Karen Camper. And so that's how we got to be. We don't have to be on the same side of the fence when we're competing to elect who our leader will be. But once that leader is identified and we've made our choice, we got to be the first one to sign up to help. And also Tori Harris came in under our leadership. Ms. Michael Anise Thomas under our leadership. Mr. J.B. Smiley Jr. under our leadership. Ms. Rhonda Logan came through under our leadership. Look, we put in work, you guys, and we're also glad to. I want to acknowledge Van Turner. We're in his office right now, County Commissioner Van Turner. He was so gracious to allow us to use his facility and has given us free reign and access here. And let me also acknowledge Mr. Cardell Oren, who made his facilities available to us for the first weekend. To all the volunteers who worked on the first weekend and those for now, I want you to know we love you. And as I wrap this up, I thought about going into detail about all the things that we did, and I didn't even scratch the surface. But I realized that's not what's important. What's really important is this small piece that I'm about to say. 3 simple things. 1, we need Democrats to recognize that this is always the fourth quarter, and that it's always fourth down, and that we're always inches from the end zone. And what's missing is we need some running backs to say, coach, put me in the game. That's what this is about. Who's the coach? The coach is the people that we are here working for. The coach is your neighbor. The coach is the teacher who's dealing with your children. The coach is the doctor who's working on your body. So we need people to say, coach, put me in the game. Second, we've got to stop doing something that we do to ourselves that we sometimes just we ignore it. We've got to stop drinking poison, thinking that other people will die. That's not how it works. When we drink poison, we die. When we attack one another, we hurt. When we don't support one another, we hurt. When we refuse to acknowledge the truth, we suffer, because we're family. And that when one kid is struggling in South Memphis, even if it's not your biological child, your kid is struggling, because Shelby County is one county. If a child is not getting the learning that they need to get in school, and it's not your child, our children, our education system has something to work with. And this is my last point I'm going to make because of time. Let's not be the kind of party that gets all it can and then turns around and cans all it gets, and then does the worst thing of all, cops a seat on the can. So let's not be that type of party who gets all it can, then turns and cans all it gets and sits on the can. The goal is to get all we can so that we can help all we can and do all we can to change all that we can. That's what it's about. I want you to know that I love you all, good, bad, and ugly. I'll be here to support you. And even after this is over and I'm not chair, you'll be seeing Michael Harris around at meetings. I'll be out in the community working and finding every opportunity to make a positive impact here in Shelby County. We love you all. We love you all. And let me not forget 2 other people, and forgive me for this, but Miss Erica Sugarman, we love you. And also Miss Felicia Boyd, we love you. Let me acknowledge Mr. Stephen Glazer, he's an awesome grievance committee chair. We appreciate you. Brother Jeff Etheridge, one of the hardest working men in politics. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just had to take this time to do that because I know it wasn't me. So I'm going to shut up here and allow this thing to roll on. But it's hard to just to try to take the credit like it was mine. It's none of my credit. It's you guys. It's the credit of yours. You all did. So that being said,
I'm
we
gonna make you
have.
wrap it up. We're gonna present you with something right quick.
Oh,
Because
goodness.
we have this presentation and I'm gonna have to put it on my camera.
Mhm.
But this says to you, and this is from us on the
Thank you
exec.
so much.
And we just want to say that we appreciated the things that you do. We know you didn't have a easy road, but you stuck in there and you really, really did a good job. And you
Thank you
know,
so much.
you won't be over, right? So that says a whole lot. But this just says, thank you, Michael Harris, for your outstanding service and a job well done. And as chairman, Shelby County Democratic Party, 2019 to 2021.
Thank you so much.
There
Thank you
go.
so
I'm
much.
giving you a hug, even though it's
Yes.
COVID.
Now I've got my cue. Life coach. Life coach has spoken. So now we will advance on to the explanation of the rules. And our first vice chair, Ms. Sarah Beth Larson, will take us through that.
Feedback, 'cause we're here in the same room. All right.
Will somebody let me know if you can hear me?
Again.
You can. Okay, thank you, everybody. I just wanted to go over the rules real quick. They're on the website if you want to follow along. I did just want to clarify, all EC and grassroots council members will be able to vote on the chair election today. Anybody who is not in attendance, obviously, like any election, will not be voting on the chair. I have in my rules, all members are required to take the oath of office before voting. Michael, I don't know if you saw that, but Michael will swear everybody in. And let's see, we did mention that people will be allowed in up to the time the rules are read. That is now, but anyone who drops off the call due to technical issues will be allowed back in up to the time that voting closes. So if there are any questions about that, let me know. We are live broadcasting this meeting to our social media sites so the public can observe without entering the Zoom and disrupting anything. Our party secretary will conduct a roll call vote of the 2021-23 SCDP. Again, that is all EC and DGC members. And the rules for the election are that the winner must garner a simple majority vote, that is 50% plus one vote, in order to win the election. So that means if the tie results after, or if a tie results, we'll revote. If after 2 attempts there is a tie, we will have a tiebreaker by a flipped coin. So our incumbent chair will do that if there are 2 tie votes in a row. And then after that, the incumbent chair will swear in the newly elected chair and turn over the meeting to that person. And then I just threw in here for fun, any guidelines not listed will be resolved at the sole discretion of the Rules Committee, which is myself and Dave. So I think one thing that we just need to do is have the count read of the numbers of members who are present today.
123 people to vote.
We have 123 people present today who can vote. The rest of us are not voting. All right. And next, we have.
I move we accept the rules as read.
All right. Have a second.
Erica Sugarman, second.
Second.
All right. We have a motion and a second to approve the rules as read. Can we just have everyone say aye or nay?
Aye.
I'm sorry, we're gonna have a poll. That'll make it even easier.
Aye.
So you can answer the poll.
Are there any nays?
Nay.
Just tell them to say aye.
Just say aye.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. Just unmute yourselves. We're having a problem with the poll. Just unmute yourselves and say aye if you are an aye vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Do we have any?
We just had. Yeah, we want to. Just gotta figure out how we're gonna do it.
Okay. All right. All right. I'm going to turn it over to.
Now we need to move to accept the credentials, which is 123 people.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Do we have a motion that, or shall I make the motion? I guess, according to this, I make the motion that we approve the credentials, the number of people being 123 voting members.
Second, Rosemary Winters.
In the interest of time, any nays? Sounds good to me. All right, thank you, everybody. So Chairman is going to swear in all of the members of the 2021-23 Shelby County Democratic Party.
Okay. Okay, so all members are required to take the oath of office. And so I will ask that you repeat after me, and you don't have to unmute yourself to do this, but I do want to see you visibly recite the oath. So I will read it and then give you an opportunity to recite the oath following each statement or segment of statements that I make. And so again, you'll say I in your name.
Aye.
Jackson, your individual name, not extra say.
Aye, Willie Brown.
So I.
I, Melinda Lanier DePriest.
I, Kerwin May.
I, Terry Williams.
I can't hear Chair Harris say a thing. He's muted.
That's true.
Michael, you're muted.
Yeah, Chair Harris, we can't hear a thing. Chair Harris, you're muted.
Euler.
Chairman Harris, you've been on mute the entire time.
Hear what I'm saying?
They couldn't hear you.
Hold on, did I just give the oath and none of you heard me?
That's exactly correct.
Yeah. Okay, I was wondering. Okay, let's try that. Let's try that again. My apologies. Okay, so don't take yourself off mute, but I do want to see you experience the oath. So I will recite it for you again. And when I say I, please follow that with your name. And we'll begin. I,
Nate Jackson. Juliet Eskridge.
Do hereby solemnly promise.
Hereby solemnly promise.
Before my fellow Democrats.
Before my fellow Democrats.
To fulfill the duties of the office.
To fulfill the duties of the office.
To which I have been elected.
To which I have been elected.
To the best of my ability.
To the best of my ability.
I also promise to support
I also
I
promise
also
promise to support.
Support.
You're back on mute again.
Michael, you're muted.
Are you raising your hand?
I further promise that if for any reason
I further promise
So
that
for any
For any
reason,
reason,
I cannot perform these duties,
I cannot
cannot
perform these
perform
duties.
duties.
I shall resign so
I
that
shall
may
resign.
be obtained.
I shall resign.
I shall
I
resign.
also understand
I also
So
understand
And
that a violation of this
the
oath
violation
violation of
of
this
this
oath
oath
of this oath
can result in removal from
can
office.
result in
Can result in removal from
removal
office.
from
from this office.
All right, thank you so much. You have now been duly sworn in. And so I want to congratulate you now officially becoming members of the Shelby County Democratic Party Executive Committee and Democratic Grassroots Council. And so at this point, we will announce who the candidates are. Yes, okay. So we will announce who the candidates are, and then I will introduce to you our moderator for this evening, who will guide us through that discussion. But I did omit two things I want to state. There are three other recognition awards I'll give, and I'll just state them. I have a best, our newcomer of the year award goes to Mr. Michael Compton, who joined the DGC from District 9 in 2019 and has been a really good asset to us. Second is newcomer of the year award goes to Mr. Aaron Washington, who joined the DGC in 2019. And then there's a best branded Democrat award, which is Democrat who's always rocking Democrat all day, every day, all in the video, all on the record, Democrat. And that goes to none other than the Mr. Thurston Smith. And so that is a Thurston is a good brother, and he's always proud of his Democratic roots, and I love that about him. And there are some other awards that I have that you all will get, but I don't have time to go through them all today. And so for the chair election today, we have two wonderful candidates who have accepted the call to duty and have come to this battlefield to fight for an opportunity to work and earn an opportunity to volunteer full time to do the work of the Shelby County Democratic Party. And I say it that way because it's a labor of love. So we have two candidates, Mr. Corey Strong and Miss Gabby Salinas. And at this time, I'd like to introduce to you a young lady who is a seasoned Democrat, who is a proven leader, who is somebody who understands the challenges of Shelby County, who understands the ups and downs that we face here in the Memphis community. And she's a wonderful leader of discussion when it comes to all things that make our community better. So our moderator for today is none other than the lovely Miss Tawan Stout Mitchell. And she's going to guide us through this discussion and let us know what the rules are. But I want to caution everyone, please do not unmute yourself. There is not a reason to unmute yourself during this process. And Miss Tawan Stout Mitchell will guide you through it and give you the necessary instructions for going forward.
Yeah, so that's good.
I am unmuted. Am I seen on screen? Can you? Yes. Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, Democrats, and thank you for your participation in this historic occasion. You know, we have the last couple of years, we've been through some awful challenges dealing with economic justice, social injustice, labor protection, public education issues, the pandemic, natural disasters, but you never stop. You never stop being positive. You never stop trying to find solutions, and you never stop meeting, trying to be an answer for people. And I salute that kind of leadership with Michael Harris. He has done a tremendous job in keeping Democrats together here in Shelby County, and all of you working together to try to make our voices heard. And you know, like I know, unless we find a solution to the voting rights protections, all of those other problems we are facing cannot be addressed, because numbers is the sole winner of this game that we're in. And so I encourage you to not get tired yet, but be like John, it's good trouble, and be like our president, who always encourages us to fight for the soul of our party and the soul of our country. And if you do that, I do believe when we're united, we can overcome so many problems if we hang together. You have two outstanding candidates running for chair, and that's wonderful, because usually one candidate will step up at a time like this. But you have two to take on this challenge. These candidates are good Democrats and will have a lot to offer you. This candidates forum portion of the event will begin with each candidate sharing at least a 2-minute introduction of themselves and why they are running. I have my cell phone on and I am watching the clock. I will be nice and say thank you when that 2 minutes has expired. And you listen carefully to who can listen to the rules because your votes will matter. First, we have Gabby Salinas and we have Corey Strong. Both are our candidates. I'm going to start with Gabby Salinas at this time. Gabby, you have the floor.
Thank you, Tahan. Good afternoon, Democrats. Thank you for sticking with us. I really appreciate the time that you have taken to come out and have your voice heard as we start the beginning of doing the work of the party. I came to Memphis 25 years ago. I'm an immigrant. I'm a scientist, a cancer survivor that was treated at St. Jude. And my story is what is possible in our country, but in Shelby County when we take care of each other, right? Only in Shelby County can a young girl beat cancer, come from a single parent household that has a mom in a wheelchair, learn how to speak English, and then become chair of the party, right? That is what's possible. That is what's possible here. And it is truly Democrats that have been driving that possibility. I have enjoyed talking to each and every single one of you through this process and listening to what your hopes and dreams are for our party. I know that there has been a lot of talk about what I plan on doing in the future. So I just wanted to take a moment to say that at this moment, I don't plan to run for any future office right now. We don't have all the information regarding the redistricting that is taking place right now. So I just want to share that with you because I know that has come up a lot and wanted to set the record straight on that. And I'm running because I want to bring 5,000 new donors to our party. I want to organize and mobilize voters so that we can win up and down the ballot. A party is more than just one person. It is more than the EC. It's more than the GRC. So I am looking forward to working with you, to mobilizing, and I hope I can count on your vote to get that work done.
Thank you, Gabby. Thank you, Gabby. The next candidate we have offering himself for leadership is Mr. Corey Strong. Mr. Strong, you have the floor for 2 minutes.
Thank you, moderator. I appreciate it. Good afternoon, Democrats. My name is Corey Strong. I just want to thank you for this opportunity in this forum to talk about the work that we have to do next year. First of all, I'm a lifelong Memphian, military veteran who came back home from the military to serve. And I can tell you that that time that I served our country, I understand how important it is to have elected leaders who come from all walks of life and are truly taking up the call to represent and serve people. And that's what Democrats do. I'm also your former party chair. A little over 4 years ago, I took over a Democratic Party that had been disbanded. And with the work of a lot of people on this phone call, not only did we put that party back together, not only did we restore its luster, not only did we get out and talk to good Democrats, not only did we recruit Democrats, but we did something that's never been done in the history of Shelby County, which is we swept countywide elections. The reason I'm coming back is because I think we have unfinished business. There's some races that need our attention, both at the county level and at the state level, but overall, all of our Democrats that are running for office deserve a strong party with strong leadership that keeps a very, very concerted Democratic message that motivates them to get to the polls, that motivates them to vote for people that are going to serve them, particularly in a pandemic like we've seen, where Democratic officials have really had a heart for our people. But most importantly, that protect voters when it needs to occur. And so I've been blessed to talk and speak with many of you about the work that you know needs to be done and how we plan on doing it. And I look forward to this opportunity to talk a little bit about what we can do over the next 2 years here in Shelby County. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Strong. We appreciate both you and Gabby for introducing yourselves to the group. We have 5 questions, well, maybe 6. I think I have 6 questions to ask both of the candidates. Each candidate will have at least 1 minute to respond to the question. Please listen carefully and answer within 1 minute. The first question will go to Mr. Strong. Please describe your leadership style and share with people what we can expect when working with you.
Thank you very much. My leadership style, I believe, is 2-pronged. I think that leaders are required to set the tone. And so when I was chairman previously, my current job and my military service, I put something up on a wall that's a plan. But that plan is not the plan that's ever executed. That plan is a plan that just sets a vision and a course. In my leadership style, I think that the best solution always comes from those that are around. And that's why it's important to listen and to involve those. I am pretty selfless as a leader, so I can put it up and I'm willing for it to be torn apart because I want to make sure that the thing that we do as an organization, as a group, is one that is represented by all of the inputs, all of the genius, all of the experience of the people around me. I think we did an excellent job of that, of ensuring that our executive committee, our steering committee, and our entire party was able to do that last time. And that's the leadership style that you would expect from me going forward, is a coalition of the willing, bringing their best ideas and their best efforts to solve problems.
Thank you. Same question for you, Ms. Salinas. Describe your leadership style and what should we expect in working with you?
My leadership style, I think, is demonstrated in the way I run this race and my previous races. I am an organizer at heart, and I love to bring different coalitions. For example, in this race, we brought up working people, unions, teachers, scientists, people that hadn't been involved, and set out a goal together collectively to have every seat filled on the GRC and the EC. And then we worked together to make sure that that got done. And it was everybody had different ideas that they brought to the table, and I made sure that we raised enough money, that we made sure that we could actually do and follow through with what we were setting out to do. And I think the numbers show for themselves. We filled seats that had never been filled in recent history. And that's something that all of us that work together can be proud of.
Thank you. The second question is, 2022 is a critical election year for Shelby County. What should be the top 3 priorities for the Shelby County Democratic Party, and why should those be the top 3? Ms. Salinas?
I think that we need to make sure that we know what's at stake in 2022, because there are things that are going to be on the ballot that are very serious. One of them being the district attorney's race. We need to mobilize voters for that. Second one being our elections that are judgeship elections. Those are 8-year terms. The district attorney and the judicial races are 8-year terms. We have to get it right. There's a lot of voter education that we have to do, right? We have to make sure that people know when these elections are happening, and we need to get them to the polls. I think for me, one of the most dangerous things that is going to be on the ballot in November is the constitutional amendment. This will change our Tennessee Constitution. We may never be able to get that off of our Constitution if it passes. And it is an anti-labor law that is overkill. We are already a right to work state, and this Constitution to make it harder for unions to exist in Tennessee. I don't think that right now the electorate understands how grave that is for our state. So that is my third priority. And that is why I have made sure that we bring in labor to have a seat at the table. We were able to get seven executive members elected from different unions because we need to be doing that work at the forefront. So those were my 3 priorities.
Mrs. Strong, the same question. What are the 3 top priorities for Shelby County Democratic Party? And give us the reason why.
My top priority would be the first one up, which is redistricting at the state level. The reason we were able to be successful in 2018 is because we were willing to go sue the courts, sue the election commission for voter disenfranchisement. The Republicans are going to do that again, but there's been success in states like North Carolina where they fought redistricting schemes that were unfair and gerrymandered. And I've already talked to the state party chair about where they should file that action in Shelby County to make sure that we have a conducive federal court. The second thing is our general election cycle. We have a lot of candidates that are up, including district attorney's race, which is one we will focus on. But we need to ensure that we have a great turnout during that election, that we sustain the seats that we had, and then we grow more. That includes the judicial races as well. But the third thing is we need to focus on expanding our territory. The reason, and I shout out to Gabby for talking about the constitutional amendment, the reason that's possibly going to go over is because of the supermajorities that we have at the state level. And we need to start peeling away at that. So we need to start targeting races out in the county. Some of the races that Ms. Salinas has run for, one race right now, which is District 31, that Ruby Powell Dennis has offered herself for, already donated to her campaign. We should support her in that regard, but we have to start flipping some of these seats. And that's got to be the focus in the November election to make sure that we have power in the legislature going forward.
The third question, Mr. Strong, if you stay, I think it's your turn to be first. In our strategic review sessions, the Shelby County Democratic Party identified communications, both internal and external, to the organization as an area where we need to improve and see improvement. What is your plan for managing communications, and what specifically will you do to ensure that Shelby County Democratic Party is effectively engaging voters?
So in terms of internal communication, and I'll be the first to tell you, it's a really difficult thing to do. One is to empower the people that are elected in the party. And I think the first line of defense would be the secretary and assistant secretary position, is to put really good and clean processes in place where there's some consistency on when we put message out so people can know when to expect the party meeting minutes, when to expect communication from the party and how they're going to receive them, but also to support everybody in the party who may have difficulties with those platforms. I know we have different levels of exposure to technology, and so it is to be selfless in service to those who may have issues with actually receiving it. I think the second, as it pertains to our external message, is not only having good platforms, good execution of social media, good execution of emails, actually doing the work of phone calling and phone banking to get information out about advocacy programs, but also elections, but also to have a message pique people's interest so that they should listen to something from the Shelby County Democratic Party, and then continue to feed them things on how they can get involved in those things. So we need to have a clear platform to message, but we also need to have a clear message when we actually communicate. And that's how I would, those are some bullet points on how I'd improve communication going forward.
Thank you. Thank you. Ms. Salinas, do I need to repeat the question? I can summarize it by saying the strategic review sessions have identified communications, both internal and external, as being a major problem. What is your plan for managing communication? And what would you specifically do to ensure that the party is effective in engaging voters?
Right. So when I decided to run, I met with as many people that are on the current executive committee because I wanted to hear from them. Where are we struggling? What are we getting right? And where we need to work on? And there were 2 people that did mention communication, both internal and external. So I have already tried to brainstorm on how we would address that if I'm so lucky to be the chair. We need to invest in technology for our internal communication. We need to be using more texting, more getting creative. You know, we did an aggressive recruitment of working people, and we need to make it easy for them to get the information that the party needs to deliver to them. And that carries on into our external communication, right? I think we have to be creative in the use of social media. I have a very aggressive role when it comes to fundraising so that we can bring in professionals to help us do that. Everybody here is on a volunteer basis, right? So we need to make sure that we're bringing in enough money to hire professionals to help us, to aid us. We can't be everything all at once, right? In the last 4 years, I've raised close to $400,000 for campaigns and political offices, and I hope to be in the $100,000 mark or above by the end of the year.
Thank you. Ms. Salinas, I think you're next for this first question. It's question number 4. And it's about political action committee, and you really spoke to fundraising, so this will help with that. What is your plan to ensure that the Shelby County Democratic Party is successful in structuring and managing responsibility when it comes to creating a PAC?
Yeah.
Campaigns are fueled by money.
Exactly. And we need to have money to get our message out there, right? It gets much harder if you're trying to do that without the money. So we have to have a PAC because by law, we can't do any political spending without a PAC. And that is just the law. I want to recruit a treasurer, obviously with the approval of the executive committee, that has experience in filing our reports, making sure that our books are done correctly, because we have to be perfect. We have to be perfect when we're dealing with the PAC. We do not want to have any fines or anything if we don't get anything, if we don't get everything exactly correctly how it should be done, right? So we need someone with experience. Also, I'm so happy that we have within the bylaws an assistant treasurer, because I do think that we need to invest in our young people, teach them how you run a PAC. How do you file? Where do you file? Number 1.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. I have some clarification. Mr. Strong, you're next. What is your plan to ensure that Shelby County Democratic Party is successful in structuring and managing responsibility when it, and whether we should create a PAC or be a part of a PAC?
So first of all, I'm pretty sure, and I'm echoing what Gabby said, that there are certain actual activities that we're limited in doing if we are not formed as a PAC. And I believe that the state party has already put out information requiring us to form a PAC. And so already started having those conversations with identifying a professional public accountant to serve in the role as treasurer to ensure that. Also, I think it's pretty clear that as the state party sends out its bylaws and how they're structured as a PAC, to just lean on the state party on their processes and procedures to do it. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. I think it's pretty straightforward. But also, I think it is important that we bake in those efforts into our actual party meetings and our executive committee and steering meetings, right? So if when you're leading and you put something as a priority, you have to make sure that you continue to check in on it, right? So every time you need to continue to have progress at each meeting to understand that you've filed the reports you need to file, you got to put them on the calendar, and you have to be very transparent about those things. And so if something is important and it's a priority, you have to put it into your, kind of normal way of organizing. That's what I've done in, previously in my professional career. And that's what we'd have for that we're transparent and that our PAC is following all the rules to allow us to do what we need to do politically to win here in Shelby County.
Thank you. Stay here. The next question is yours. Self-awareness is so important. Know who you are and how to lead an organization. Tell us your greatest strength as a leader, and tell us your challenges, your personal challenges. I don't want to call them a weakness, but how do you challenge yourself to be even better as a leader?
So I'm going to speak specifically about my time as a party chair. Self-awareness is super important. This position is not about an individual. It's about this organization. It's about the democratic effort. And it's about using yourself to cover when it's required. It's about showing up at a polling location when candidates are pulling each other's signs down. It's about showing up at another polling location when candidates are fighting. It's about being willing to stand next to a organization that supports us to call out a Democratic elected official for not standing by Democratic values, even when that same Democratic official comes to you later and threatens you to a fight. These are situations I've been in before. But the important point is, it is about democratic effort here in Shelby County and getting good people elected. You have to be willing to give of yourself in order to do that. I think the thing that I have to work on sometimes is you can't solve everything. You can't be everywhere. And sometimes you got to pick up the phone and call some other people to support you when things get tough. And I know there were times in our election cycle where I felt alone because I made some tough decisions and everybody doesn't go with you with every one of those decisions. So it's important to make sure that you have people with you, supporting you, that you have a coalition of people surrounding you. And that's something I continue to work on. Can't be a hero, but you have to be able to be willing to make those tough calls, be self-aware and understand it's not about you, it's about the effort of getting good Democrats elected here.
Thank you. Gabby, that same question. Self-awareness is so important. How you perceive yourself as a leader is important. What is your greatest strength, and what challenge do you have to improve yourself to be even a more effective leader?
Yeah, I think that my biggest strength obviously is organizing, getting people to the table, making sure that they feel invested and included. And I've already taken on some of that as our elections took place last week, of people that may have felt like they didn't win their election, right? I was like, there's going to be plenty of work to get done, regardless of who is chair. And we need you to stay engaged. We need you to stay involved and motivated, because we have to be organized in this process as we go into 2022. So that's, I think, an example of how I've already started to make sure that whatever happens, we are organized as a party. I think when it comes to what I need to work on, I think sometimes I think really big and have these really ambitious goals and want to get them done. And sometimes, there are other things and other factors that come into play to that, in the details that get worked out. But I always think that it's better to dream big than not dream big enough. An example of that is I want to put 1 million voter contacts into the county by election day on November of 2022. That is a big goal. That is very bold. And there are some people that don't agree with it. There are people that are hesitant of how we will go about that. So we're trying to navigate that. But I think it's always better to dream big.
Thank you. This next question is for you too. And it's one that I think you can answer quickly. What two measurable initiatives can we expect from you in the first year to keep you accountable?
I've given two solid numbers, 5,000 unique donors to the party, and the 1 million voter contacts into Shelby County. Those are very important. If we don't raise money, we're not going to be able to do the work of the party that needs to get done. If we don't get our message out there in a competitive way, then it's going to be hard for us to win up and down the ballot. And if I didn't believe we couldn't do it, I wouldn't have said it. I believe in us. I believe in everybody that is on this call. And I know whether you support me or not, we're going to come together to make sure that there's democratic victories up and down the ballot in 2022.
Corey, the same question is for you. What two measurable initiatives can we do undertake in your first year that we can hold you accountable for?
Absolutely. So fundraising communications have come up, and the focus would be in both of those areas. I think in reference to our phone, email, and social media contacts, our goal is to quadruple those in the first year, to have four times more contacts in all of those areas that we're communicating with, that are engaged with our message, and that we can get information out to. And the second one is in reference to fundraising. We want to raise $150,000 next year in reference to our actual election efforts. That effort is to ensure that we have not only a place to elect people from, which is a headquarters, but also to fund the specific activities that we will take care of in the summer months, as well as the fall election cycle. We raised about half of that last time during my chairmanship, and that's thanks to the efforts of a lot of people here in the call. But that is a very specific and a very attainable number that will allow us to do the things that we can do effectively to support the candidates up and down the ballot, both in August and in November.
Thank you. The next portion of our questionnaire will be to include all of you. We're asking for the voting body to give us questions in the chat, Zoom chat box. Any question that is obscene or vulgar, now, you know I ain't gonna read it. Now I'm just gonna tell you right now. So, but legitimate, legitimate, good quality questions for leaders. Make sure we have them and put them in the chat. You can also text them. I'm gonna call this, and you can text it to 184. No. Just put them in the chat. Just they say don't text, just put them in the chat. I'm going to try to get to as many as I can. I'm going to call this rapid fire. So candidates, don't give me a dissertation. Just get to the meat and the crux of answering the question. And then maybe we can get as many as we can. Put them in the chat and I will call them out as they come in.
Brian McBride asked the question.
All right. Let me mute myself for 1 minute and get instructions from your chair. Corey Strong, this question goes to you. What type of infrastructure did you set up while chair? And after your term was over, how did you serve as a resource for the party?
So the infrastructure I set up as chair is we didn't have any party infrastructure. So literally everything that we're doing today was initiated by that initial DGC, EC, in our party. So we signed our first bylaws and passed those. We created our first website. We had our first email address. All of the actual party events and everything that we did during that election cycle and was the infrastructure that we set up. And we still use those same things today. How did I act as a resource to the Democratic Party during my time away? Most of you are aware that after I left the chairmanship, I ran for I ran in the primary for the District 9 congressional race. And the resource that I had was to continue to carry the Democratic message of the importance of bringing great jobs to the city of Memphis into the 9th district, that we have an incredible working class population here that deserves investment. I thought I ran a great campaign, talked about the Democratic message of bringing great jobs to this area and improving our economy. And I continue to support candidates off and on as they contact me throughout.
Thank you. Gabby, look, this question goes to both of you, but I'm gonna start with you. Please tell us who is supporting you on the Democratic Party from our 20 county elections. What elected officials are supporting you as the chair?
Of Heidi Kuhn, Melvin Burgess. I hope I'm not leaving anyone out, but those are the ones
us and work together to move our party forward. We can't lose with the stuff both of these two use because both of them are quality candidates. I am proud to be a Democrat in Shelby County. I'm proud of these contenders. And now I give the floor to your illustrious chairman, Mr. Michael Harris. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Juan Scott Mitchell. We appreciate you. And to those who are yet remaining on this call, we appreciate you. And I believe we're missing one other piece from this that I advise both candidates that they would have, and that is to have a minute to 2 minutes to do their closing remarks. And then that will conclude this part of our convention, and then we'll proceed to adoption of the bylaws, and then to make the actual selection of chair. So we'll begin with Corey Strong, and then we will do a coin toss for who goes first. And okay, well, we'll do a coin toss for who goes first, and heads will be for Corey Strong, tails will be for Gabby Salinas. So we'll go first with Corey Strong, and then we'll follow Corey Strong with Gabby Salinas.
Thank you, Chairman Harris. The past few weeks has been pretty amazing, but pretty whirlwind with COVID and coming back to school. Also being reached out to a number of very, very deep and lifelong friends that I met in the country of Afghanistan that are struggling with the potential of being unsafe going forward because of the help that they provided us. And it's really helped me put some things in perspective. I've really enjoyed the opportunity to talk about the importance of this office. And I joined and I signed up because I really wanted to make sure that we had a clear vision in an effort in 2022 to take care of some unfinished business and to keep the democratic train of elected officials here moving forward. One of the things that was very, very important to me as a chairman that I understood was the need and the importance of building a bench. And in order to build a bench, there are some people that have to move forward and allow other people to take their seats to learn, to grow, and to understand. And so to that end of being the message that I've actually asked of others and I expect of others, I am going to step aside in this particular race, and I'm going to concede to Ms. Gabby Salinas. She mentioned being of that age group that we're trying to connect, and she is that. She is a very qualified, a great organizer, and I want to actually give her credit and know her what they have done to get ready for this convention. And the plans they've made to go forward, I would ask that we all support her. And in reference to that, Michael mentioned supporting someone and Ms. Karen Camper supporting. So this morning, I sent my first $100 to the Shelby County Democratic Party. And I'm also supporting candidates that are on the ballot also as well, because I want to stay involved in that regard. I do want to also say the last thing, which is it is so important that we stay committed to the effort in 2022. There are so many candidates that are depending on the party and depending on the chairmanship. And I want all of us to take that very seriously and understand how important that is and how catastrophic it would be if for some reason there's disruption in the party. So take that very seriously, stay engaged, stay involved, support our next